We got this question inside the Bitcoin personal finance think tank, and I want to come here and answer it directly for you too. If you have a net worth of $250,000, how would you scale that to $1 million net worth? That's what I want to talk about. First off, Excel or Google Sheets is going to be your best friend. I've used lots of different budgeting software, lots of different, like, hook up all your accounts and let it pull in all your information in real time. Like, look, if you like that, great. Keep moving with whatever tool like you're doing, but you have to make sure that you genuinely like it. Are you genuinely opening it every day, every week? Do you not get annoyed by having to reconnect the accounts and you're just totally fine with using it? Sweet. Keep doing that then. But if you're not, if you don't have a tool that you love and you feel like, oh, like I just need to find the right tool so that I can like visualize all of it. No, Excel. Like Excel or Google Sheets, that's the tool. Excel and Google Sheets is the tool. Add it to your phone. Add that app to your phone. Start the profile. What am I trying to say? Start the sheet. Call it 2026 net worth and add it to the home screen of your phone. Add it to the home screen of your phone so that you open it every day. And then instead of opening social media in the morning, so when you roll over, open your phone, open social media. No, roll over, open your phone, open the spreadsheet. Open the spreadsheet, then open up your bank account, then open up your investment account, then open up your Bitcoin wallet if you do self-custody. Okay? That's how you do it. Like set the intention every single day. The intention every single day of like, this is what I'm focused on right now. Okay? So Google Sheets or Excel. And here's the next thing. Count everything. Your net worth is yours. Like it's personal finance is personal. So don't watch these videos on YouTube that are like, your primary residence doesn't count as part of your net. No. All of it. Count all of it. If you hold physical USD paper money under your mattress, make a box for it in Excel or Google Sheets and count that. Count that. If you spent $10,000 on your partner's wedding ring, count that. Okay? I spent $600, by the way. And we eloped on a mountain. We eloped and threw a party for our family for like, I think it was like $12,000. All right. And the ring cost $600. That doesn't have to be you. You don't have to scaling from 250K to $1 million. You don't have to cut corners or shave sides like the way that other people do. You don't have to. Your net worth is super personal. And so don't listen to like ways of don't listen to people that are like, oh, that doesn't count or that's not the way to do it. Especially on this like getting this handhold of $1 million. No, count everything. Literally count everything. Everything you own. Your car, like your car equity, count everything you own, okay? All types of cash, all types of investments, count all of it, all right? Get all of that on one spreadsheet with the value so that you know what your starting point is, okay? That's what you got to do. Next, I would focus exclusively on dollars, Bitcoin, and real estate. The reason for that is because it creates just the less that there is to focus on, the better. And you just want to pick the best assets in each little bucket. And it's about building efficiency in your day-to-day. Scaling from 250K to $1 million, you have to extract efficiency out of every single month and every single week. So you want to be holding the best assets and not be so spending mental energy on like picking the right basket of investments, okay? So the reason for this is because this is the exact strategy that we used, okay? So again, there are lots of paths up this hill. The worst thing you can do is continue bouncing between the paths. That doesn't mean continue to try something that's not working if it's just genuinely not working and don't switch to a different way of doing it. Like absolutely be willing to switch to a different way of doing it. But if you've tried multiple different things and feel like you're still kind of like all over the place or don't feel like you have a specific plan, I really believe that like real estate and owning your own home, I'm going to get to specific like numbers and buckets in a second, but just conceptually, owning your own home has been a tried and true way to build your net worth in America. Like purchasing your own home is the largest financial transaction that the majority of people make in their lifetime. and the forced savings account mechanism of it and the way that 30-year mortgages work, and now potentially 50. I'm not going to be the guy that's making videos about 50-year mortgages, but if they do that, that extends the payments even farther, which makes homes even more affordable. And I'm a big like cash flow guy. And so that's another thing. To scale from 250K to $1 million net worth, you have to rip the Band-Aid off of this whole thing of like debt is bad. You have to kill that. If you have that, if you have grown up in that mindset, or if you have that mindset, you have to kill that. You have to kill that. Debt is bad. That's not true. Debt is just a thing. It's just a bucket. Like again, when you're building your net worth spreadsheet, it's just a bucket. So you have your bucket of positive money. My car is worth this. My car loan is this. And then the spread is adding to your net worth. The credit card is this. So debt is not bad. Debt is a tool. And you're going to have to get good to scale from 250K to $1 million. You're going to have to get good at shopping rates, tracking your credit score. Get the Experian app, get the Experian mobile app, put that on your phone. Focus on making that number go up. So at the same time as scaling your 250K to $1 million, you're going to scale your credit score also. Track it in the Experian app. Don't track it in the free banking apps because they give you a thing called Vantage Score. You want to track your FICO score inside the Experian app. Okay? So we've got the Excel sheet. We want to focus exclusively on dollars, Bitcoin, and real estate. Real estate. So then now start a new tab. And this is for projecting forward, okay? So, let's go over the buckets first. Then we'll talk about projecting forward. So count everything. You know what your starting point is. And now what I would do is I would focus exclusively on dollars, Bitcoin, and real estate. This is the part that becomes, so most of what I've said so far is pretty like blanket, like will apply to everyone. Next, you have to move with like kind of everyone's situation is different. And so you have to kind of hear this part and extrapolate a little bit, okay? Because so let's tackle the real estate thing first. If you own a home, sweet. Put how much equity you have in your home in, like, that is good. If you don't own a home yet, then here's what, like, your home is going to be a core piece of this scaling from 250K to $1 million, okay? And here's what, if you don't own a home and you're just renting and you're kind of like, maybe you've thought home ownership is out of reach or whatever, here's literally the way to drill through that, okay? Whatever metro area that you've chosen to live in, that you're living in, Google for new build townhomes. Google for Lennar, D.R. Horton, Richmond, America. Look for new build townhomes, okay? New build townhomes within the 30, 40 miles of where you're trying to live. Find the new build townhomes and go tour those. Go tour those and just feel what it's like, and let your brain go with your partner, go with your family. Let your brain imagine living there, okay? Let your brain imagine living there. And here's the best part about it. You don't need a realtor. You just go in and talk to the salesperson yourself. Look, you can take a realtor, but we've never done it that way. The reason why buying a new build is so awesome is because they have incentives. Like you're buying direct from the people building it, and they have incentives. And so you go there, tour, get in line, and you ask, what are your incentives? Like what's your current rate offering? Because a lot of times the new builds will buy down the rate for you, and your mortgage will be less, okay? And then get the name of the lender that they use in order to receive that credit and become best friends with that person. Honestly, call that person and be like, hey, like, I'm a first-time home buyer, like, really would love to learn the process. I've been, researching how to buy a home online, and, like, learn how to calculate your own debt to income ratio and ask that person to help you, and just become their best friend. Okay? And you want to target 5% down. You don't need 20% down. You want to target 5% down and then figure out what that monthly payment is and figure out if that works in your budget, all right? But, like, for example, 5% down is like you could get like a $750,000 house for like $37,000, and then another like $13,000 in closing costs. So for $50K. So for $50K down, you can get a $750K house. most metros in the United States, you should be able to get a new build townhome for $750K. And again, ignore the family members and ignore the whatever that's like, you're gonna pay RPG for a townhome in the nope. That person that popped into your head right there, they have to leave. They have to leave. To scale from $250K to $1 million, that person is not involved in this plan anymore. Okay? Whoever that is in your brain that popped up right there, that person does not exist. And if that's in your own head, then that's exactly where you have to start as well. Okay? So, because then that 37K, that 50K, somewhere in that range that goes into that house, that then goes on your net worth. So when you calculate your net worth today without a house and you're like, oh, we have 37K sitting in this Bank of America account. The 37K leaves the Bank of America account, it becomes equity in your home. Your net worth number stays the same because the 37K just goes into this bucket over to this bucket, okay? But then every single month when you're paying your mortgage, the principal is going down, increasing your net worth, okay? So that's the thing right there. That's my stance on real estate. And that becomes, and here's the other thing that it does. Here's the other thing that it does. It changes your brain and it makes people respect you more. Being a homeowner makes people respect you more. It's going to, people at your work are going to take you more seriously. People that you interact with are going to take you more seriously. That's just a thing. I've experienced that in my own life. It's a thing. That's how the world works. That feeling of self-confidence and the way that other people treat you changing is going to help you in your scaling from 250K to $1 million, okay? So then the other part that then is going to be different, if you have a retirement account or not. Like wherever you're at with your whole like 401k, traditional IRA, Roth IRA kind of thing, here's what I would do if you have a work plan. If you have a work 401k plan and your goal is to scale from 250K to $1 million, it comes down to this. Does your work 401k plan give you access to Bitcoin? If it does give you access to Bitcoin, if you can have self-directed investing and it gives you access to the Bitcoin ETF inside your 401k, then we can talk about contributing. Then like it could be a good idea to contribute to your 401k. If it doesn't, and it just has random stocks, the liquidity, the bigger paycheck into your own life is going to scale you faster to 250 to $1 million, okay? And that's with a match or without a match. If your company has a match, awesome. That's just great juice on top of everything, but don't hinge everything on this, okay? So with a match or without a match, I would actually hinge the 401k whole question on do you have access to Bitcoin or not? And the reason for that is just simply because the odds of Bitcoin outperforming stocks is high. Like in this model, in this Bitcoin personal finance model of scaling from 250 to $1 million, 250 is not enough to like diversify across other random things. You want to focus on 3 assets: dollars, Bitcoin, and real estate. So if your 401k plan has access to the Bitcoin ETF, sweet, then you can do it. But also if your 401k plan has access to the ETF, but they don't offer a match, then there's not really all you're doing is tying up your money inside that bucket that gives you less flexibility, okay? So I would, in general, I would lean towards not using your 401k, taking home as much pay as possible. You want your net paycheck into your own account to be as big as possible, okay? So now let's talk about if you have a 401k from an old job or if you have an IRA, if you have a Roth IRA. If you already have money in these accounts, here's how I would think about it. Again, you're going to hear different things from different people, okay? So it has to filter through your own, like you have to choose to have an opinion about this, okay? You can't have like to scale from 250K to $1 million. You have to like have an opinion and go on that opinion and don't deviate from it, okay? So I'm going to say something that's going to be different from what some people will say, but that's okay. You can choose if you want to do it or you want to do it a different way, all right? I focus exclusively on Roth IRAs. I focus exclusively on getting into Roth IRAs because to me, it's just simpler and I don't really care about the like tax efficiency right now of contributing to a traditional IRA. Again, especially from just this time point of scaling 250 to $1 million, okay? So if you already have money in a Roth IRA, awesome. I'm going to go in reverse order. If you already have money in a Roth IRA, I would get it into the Bitcoin ETF and count that as a big cornerstone of your scaling. Okay. So a Roth IRA with the Bitcoin ETF in it is a good core component. If you have a traditional IRA, you should look at two things. You should look at converting it into a Roth. And so look up backdoor Roth conversion, or you should remove that money, pay the penalty. Okay. And that can either, like, Sharon and I both cashed out traditional IRAs in order to fund our first townhome. All right. Our first, so we converted everything into Roth. Whatever was left over, we removed out of it and used it for our first townhome. If you have a 401k that's stuck at work and you're still at your job, so because you've been contributing, I would get it into the highest growth tech thing that you can. Like if you don't have access to the Bitcoin ETF, I'd put it in the NASDAQ. Okay, if you don't have access to that, put it in the NASDAQ. You want it as high growth aggressive as possible. That 401k just is there, but then you stop adding to it. The traditional IRA, you cash it out, use it to buy a home, or use it to move it into your Roth, or use it to buy Bitcoin outside of your retirement plan. If you have a Roth IRA, get it into the Bitcoin ETF. Okay, now, because the cornerstone becomes your Roth IRA with the Bitcoin ETF and your home equity, all right? And then the third piece is your liquidity, like your money that isn't in a retirement account and isn't in home equity in your home, okay? This money should now be split across regular Bitcoin and this ticker symbol called STRC, okay? Regular Bitcoin and STRC are now your new high yield savings account. So you're not holding dollars. You want to hold as minimal amount of dollars in a checking account as possible. So whatever your normal monthly bills are, round up to the next 1,000 and just keep that as your checking account, okay? That's your checking account of dollars. And then everything above and beyond that should be split between medium-term money into STRC, because it pays 10.5%. So $25,000 into STRC would pay $200 a month because it pays 10% annually, but it pays monthly. So $25,000 into STRC pays $200 a month. That pays more than a high yield savings account, okay? And then whatever money above that, like your long-term, and this is where how aggressively you want to get to $1 million, is how much you should be getting into Bitcoin. Okay, so then now you have those three buckets. So your home equity, your Roth IRA with Bitcoin ETF in it, and then your high yield savings account of Bitcoin and STRC. Now what you want to do is you want to start a new tab on your Excel or your Google Sheets and call this projection, forward-looking projection. And you want to grow the Bitcoin ETF and regular Bitcoin at 30% annually. You want to grow STRC at 0 annually, okay? Because that's going to stay steady. It's going to stay steady at the value of $1, and it's going to pay you the 10.5% interest. And then your home, you want to grow, depending on what city you live in, you want to either pick 5 or 7, okay? For the compound annual growth rate that real estate will have. Then you just project all that forward. So you take your starting point, you grow the Bitcoin accounts at 30% a year, you grow STRC and USD at 0, and you grow the home equity at between 5 to 7. And then boom, what you're going to do is you're going to map it out. And like, if you're starting with, I should have done the math on this. Like I didn't do the math on this. But 250K, again, because it's different for everyone. What I want to do is provide like a specific like, and honestly, I'm not going to do this in the video. Provide a specific like, and you'll be there in 4.5 years. Isn't that awesome? Like, it's not that, and I'm not putting it on the thumbnail, and I'm not doing that or whatever, because your starting bucket, you have to do the exercise of this. Do the exercise of this, of understand what your starting bucket is, and then project it out at that. And some of you are going to find that like, yeah, right now I'm starting at 180K and projecting it out with this, then I'll hit it in 7 years or whatever. And that's awesome. That's freaking awesome. Because now you have that as a handhold. You have that as a handhold, and that inner confidence begins to like flow, and that all becomes a cycle. That all becomes a cycle of like people at work taking you more seriously, people in your own life taking you more seriously, people in your family taking you more seriously, because you're like, dude, I have eyes on becoming a millionaire. I have an actual path that's actually grounded in reality and simplicity on becoming a millionaire. That's how I would do it. I have another video that says what I would do if I was starting over the $100,000, and it splits up this same thing of how much. In that video, I talk about one other ticker symbol called BTCI. It's because it's kind of a hybrid of Bitcoin and monthly income, but you don't have to use that hybrid. You can use STRC instead. So that other video, I break down how to break up $100,000 into buying a house, buying Bitcoin, and having that little bit of a hybrid right there to take pressure off the monthly cash flow. Because here's the rub on this. And it's like, oh, like that sounds really easy. Like on paper, here's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is you're going to go tour the new build townhome and you're going to run the numbers on putting 5% down on it. And that monthly payment is going to feel big. It's going to feel big and it's going to feel scary. And that is right where the rubber on the road is. Like that feeling is what you need to tackle and face head on. That little bit of like, kind of some other YouTubers call it like strategic stress. That amount of strategic stress of you and your partner looking yourselves in the eye and being like, we have the ability to do this. Or you like looking at your monthly finances and finding the way to do that. That's right where it happens. That's right where it happens for you both to decide together that we have the ability to do this. We have the ability to become these people. We have the ability to be millionaires in 6.5 years. Because you can do that, but it's right there of realizing that that monthly payment is going to feel big and feel scary. Right there is where your brain matter changes and where you can actually do this. If you made it all the way to the end, I think you would really enjoy being a channel member. It's a few bucks a month and you can cancel anytime. You can get members only live streams, join our private Discord chat for members of this channel. It's called the Bitcoin Personal Finance Think Tank. And so really trying to bring together people that are evolving the way that they incorporate Bitcoin into their personal finances. We have growth people, we have business owners, we've got real estate people, we've got people that go hard on dividend funds. And so it's a really good mix. Click join right next to the subscribe button and we'll see you on the next one.